At 82, I've gathered a lifetime of lessons, but there's one decision I truly regret: moving into a nursing home. At the time, it felt like the right thing to do. My family reassured me that I'd be well cared for, comfortable, and supported. I trusted them. But once I got there, I quickly realized the truth was far from what I had imagined. If you're thinking about moving into a nursing home or helping a loved one make that decision, please listen closely. Maybe you're considering it because it seems safer, easier, or more practical. But before you take that step, I want to share 6 things I wish someone had told me before I moved in. Because the reality is, life in a nursing home isn't just a change of address, it changes your whole life. And getting out once you're in isn't nearly as simple as it sounds. Stick with me to the end. Some of these lessons may surprise you, and if you know someone who's considering this move, this might be exactly what they need to hear before making such a life-altering choice. Regret number 1: losing my independence. The biggest shock wasn't the small room, the fixed meal times, or the unfamiliar faces. It was realizing I had given up control over my own life. Before I moved in, I had freedom. I decided when to wake up, what to eat, and how to spend my day. I could take a walk whenever I pleased, cook meals the way I liked, or simply relax in my favorite chair with a good book. But inside the nursing home, everything changed. My schedule was no longer mine. Breakfast came at a set time, whether or not I was hungry. Lights were turned off at night, whether or not I was ready for bed. Even something as simple as going for a walk required permission and staff availability. Choices that once felt basic, like picking my clothes or deciding what to eat, suddenly felt like privileges. I remember my first week there, waking up in a bed that felt foreign. I reached for the book I'd been reading back home, only to realize the room around me didn't feel like mine at all. My books, my chair, my little comforts, gone, replaced by plain walls, a bed I didn't choose, and a sinking feeling in my chest. I wasn't in control anymore. And the hardest truth? Once you give up your independence, reclaiming it is nearly impossible. You learn to adjust because you have no choice. You stop questioning the dinner menu. You stop asking to go out for a walk on your own. You fall into their routine. But in doing so, little by little, you lose yourself. If you're considering a nursing home, ask yourself this: are you ready to give up the little freedoms that make life truly yours? Because once they're gone, you'll miss them more than you ever thought possible. Regret number 2: feeling forgotten. One of the most painful realizations about moving into a nursing home is understanding that the world outside continues on, without you. When I first arrived, my family promised they'd visit often, and in the beginning, they did. My daughter came by every week. My grandchildren would stop in on the weekends. For a while, I felt like I still had a thread tying me to the life I had before. But over time, those visits slowed. Phone calls replaced in-person conversations. My daughter got busy. The kids had school, jobs, and commitments. And slowly, without anyone meaning to, I started to fade into the background. Holidays were the hardest. Everyone would make plans to visit, but more often than not, those plans would change. I'd find myself sitting alone in the common room, watching other residents glance at the door, silently hoping today would be the day someone came for them. It's not that my family stopped loving me. Life simply moved on. And when you're no longer part of the daily routine, it's easy for people to assume you're okay, that you're settled, that you don't need much anymore. But the truth is, the longer you're in a nursing home, the easier it is to be forgotten, not out of malice, just out of distance. I remember one evening sitting with my phone in hand, debating whether to call my son. I didn't want to be a burden. I didn't want to seem needy. So, I put the phone down. And that's when it hit me. This was my new normal. Waiting, hoping, wondering if today someone would remember to check in. If you're thinking about a nursing home, ask yourself, am I ready for that kind of loneliness? Because no matter how much your family loves you, once you're out of sight, it's all too easy to slip out of mind. If you've made it this far in the video and these reflections resonate with you, please type number 2 in the comments to let me know you're still here. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing and turning on notifications so you don't miss the rest of this important series. Regret number 3. Losing my sense of purpose. When I moved into the nursing home, I thought I was simply changing my address. I didn't realize I was also surrendering my sense of purpose. Back home, I had a routine. I had things to take care of, chores, hobbies, small daily tasks that gave my life rhythm. Whether it was watering my plants, brewing my own coffee, or tidying up my space, it all meant something. But once I entered the nursing home, all those responsibilities disappeared. Meals were prepared for me. The cleaning was done by staff. Even the plants weren't mine to tend. At first, I thought, maybe this is a good thing. A chance to finally rest. No more to-do lists. No more obligations. But after a few weeks, I began to feel a quiet emptiness. The days stretched long with nothing to look forward to. I saw it in others too. People who once had full, busy lives now sat in wheelchairs, staring out windows, waiting for something to happen. I'll never forget George, a man of 84 who had spent his life as a carpenter. Back home, he was always working on small projects, building things in his garage. He had purpose. But in the nursing home, there were no tools, no wood, no projects to keep his hands busy or his mind engaged. I feel useless, he told me one day. And I understood exactly what he meant. When you no longer have something meaningful to do, something or someone to care for, life begins to feel hollow. The mind slows, the body weakens, and you start to feel like just another name on a chart, another face in the hallway of a place where time moves, but very little changes. But in a place like this, very little really changes. If you're thinking about moving into a nursing home, ask yourself, what gives your life meaning? Because once you're there, finding purpose isn't just about passing the time. It's about holding on, often desperately, to the things that make you feel alive. Regret number 4. My health declined faster than I ever expected before I entered the nursing home. I was doing fairly well for someone in their early 80s. Sure, I wasn't running races or hiking mountains, but I was independent. I could make my own meals, keep my house clean, do my own laundry. I had routines that kept me moving, grocery trips, gentle stretches each morning, and a walk around the block to keep my legs strong. These small tasks may not sound like much, but they gave structure to my days and strength to my body. When I moved in, it felt like a break at first. No more cooking or cleaning. Meals were brought to me. If I needed anything, I could press a button and someone would be there to help. It was convenient, comfortable even. But what I didn't realize was that this new, easier life came with a hidden cost. Without the daily effort, walking, lifting, moving, my body began to weaken. Slowly, at first. I didn't notice it immediately. But within weeks, I was sitting more than I ever had before. My legs started to stiffen. Getting out of a chair required more effort. Walking became tiring. And it wasn't just me. I saw the same thing happen to the people around me. Folks who had walked in with a cane were now using walkers. Walkers turned into wheelchairs. Independence slipped away like sand through fingers. Not all at once, but bit by bit. I remember Alice, a woman who lived just down the hall. She was 81 and full of life when she arrived. She had this determined sparkle in her eye and used to say, "Just because I'm old doesn't mean I'm stopping." She'd walk around the facility every day, waving at everyone, insisting she'd never slow down. But after a few months, she started skipping her walks. Then came the walker, then the wheelchair. One afternoon, she looked over at me and said, "I don't even know when it happened. I feel like I aged 10 years in just a few months." And I knew exactly what she meant. The truth is, when you stop using your body, it starts to forget how to work. Muscles you spent a lifetime building can waste away quickly when they're no longer challenged. In a place where everything is designed to reduce effort, elevators instead of stairs, meals brought to your table, help just a button away. It's easy to become passive. Too easy. Looking back, if I had known how fast my strength would fade, I would have fought harder to stay active. I would have walked more, stretched more, asked to help with small tasks, pushed myself, even on the days I didn't feel like it. If you or someone you love is considering moving into a nursing home, ask yourself, will you still have the motivation to keep your body moving when everything around you is set up to make life effortless? Because once you slow down, once you stop challenging your body, getting your strength back becomes a far steeper climb than you can imagine. If you're still watching this and finding these reflections helpful, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're with me. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing and turning on the bell so you don't miss more of these important conversations. Your support means the world and helps us continue sharing stories that matter. Regret. 5. Losing my privacy and dignity. One thing I truly didn't think about before moving in was just how much of my privacy I would be giving up. At home, I had space, my bedroom, my kitchen, my bathroom, all mine. I could close the door, sit in silence, read a book, or simply be alone with my thoughts. I could choose when and how to bathe, when to get dressed, and how I wanted to spend each hour. That sense of autonomy, of personal dignity, was part of who I was. But in the nursing home, that line between personal space and public space blurs very quickly. In a nursing home, privacy becomes a luxury, one you don't always get to keep. From the moment I arrived, it felt like there was always someone around. Staff members coming in and out of my room, scheduled checks, shared spaces. You're rarely ever alone. Even basic things like getting dressed or using the bathroom often required someone else's help. I understood they were just doing their jobs, but it's not easy to accept assistance with things you've handled on your own for decades. That first week, I remember struggling with how much control I had lost. I had to ask permission or wait for help with things I used to do without a second thought. Want to take a shower? Only when a caregiver is available. Need to use the restroom? Press the call button and wait, sometimes longer than you'd like. Even meals felt out of my hands. If you didn't like what was on the menu that day, you simply had to accept it or go without. Then there's the matter of roommates. Not everyone gets a private room. I was fortunate to have a kind roommate, but others weren't so lucky. I heard stories of people sharing rooms with individuals who were noisy, messy, or struggling with severe cognitive decline. Some couldn't sleep because their roommates wandered or called out during the night. And even when you try to personalize your space, hang pictures, bring your own blanket, or add a touch of home, it never truly feels like yours. You're living in someone else's system, following someone else's schedule. What surprised me most was how quickly dignity could fade. Staff would sometimes knock, but not wait before entering. I was spoken to like a patient, not a person. My days were organized according to a timetable I didn't set. Eventually, you start to feel more like a number on a clipboard than an individual with a name, a story, and preferences. If you're considering a nursing home, ask yourself, are you ready to give up the privacy and control you've had your entire life? Because once it's gone, it's incredibly hard to reclaim. Looking back, I don't regret growing older. That's a privilege. But I do regret believing that a nursing home was my only path forward. I walked through those doors expecting comfort, safety, and a better life. What I didn't expect was how gradually my independence, privacy, sense of purpose, and even identity would slip away. Now, does that mean all nursing homes are bad? Not at all. For some people, the level of care they provide is absolutely essential. But the key is making sure it's the right choice for you. Before you make such a life-altering decision, ask yourself, what am I giving up? Is there a way to get help while still staying in my own home? Do I truly need this level of care, or does it just feel like the easier route right now? If I had the chance to do it over, I would have fought harder to stay in my home, looked for in-home support options, and made sure I was truly at a point where a nursing home was the only option, not just the most convenient one. Because the life you're living now, your routines, your freedom, your choices, is worth preserving for as long as you can. Thank you for spending this time with us. We'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and share one insight you took from this video and how you might apply it in your own life. Your feedback inspires us to keep going. If you found this video meaningful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear this message. Your support helps us continue delivering thoughtful, valuable content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.